Hello friends, welcome back to the James Lawrence Allcott channel. Is it time to panic if you're a Leeds fan, and should changes be made? That's what I want to dive into in this video. I want to assess the situation. Is it as bad as everyone feels after that 7-0 defeat to Man City? Why was it a 7-0 defeat against Man City? And generally, I think when teams are struggling like this, I can show you the current standings. Leeds United in 16th place at the moment. They were in 11th last season. We're going to dive into sort of how they're playing right now, if it's as bad as we think it is. And of course, you've got to talk about the manager here because, you know, you look at Everton, who are 14th right now, and the pressure that's on Rafa Benitez. Yes, maybe there's different expectations there, but I think we were hoping, or Leeds United fans were certainly hoping, for a better season than what they've seen so far. So with that in mind, how do you change it? Often when you change it, it's by focusing on the manager and changing him. So is that a road to go down? Let's discuss that. Before we do, if you could subscribe to the channel, then that would be massively, massively appreciated. Of course, only do it if you enjoy the content. But if you watch the content regularly and you haven't subscribed, there's quite a lot of you guys, then please do consider hitting the button for me and the like button as well. If you enjoy these ones where I just literally shoot the SH, yeah. Right, let's do it. First of all, let's have a look at the standings. You can see, as we just saw there, incredible stuff. Man City as well, quick moment on them. 40 goals, 9 conceded. Pretty impressive. Leeds United, 17 goals scored, 32 conceded. We're going to come back to that. The first thing I think we've got to touch on is the lineup for Leeds and just how depleted they are at this moment in time. Let's have a look at this. This is Football Manager. Now, I like to use Football Manager because I think it's just a beautiful way of showcasing what's going on. So this is the squad right now, and this is in order of age. Now, this is important because this is a squad that's incredibly thin. It's also a squad that has a lot of players that have come up through the Championship that Bielsa, through Bielsa Ball, has been able to elevate to the Premier League level with the style of play that they play. And we saw that last year. Maybe there was an element of running on adrenaline. Maybe the fans have played a part, not in a negative sense, but just in an overall emotive sense for other teams as much as Leeds United. But Leeds United's kind of had that energy last season. But also, so importantly here, the players that are missing. Players that are missing for that Man City game. It's absolutely incredible. Rodrigo, big money buy last season. Liam Cooper, the captain of the club. Patrick Bamford, the talisman in terms of scoring goals. Calvin Phillips, the best centre midfielder that they've got by a long, long shot. Robin Koch as well, out as well, in German international. Pascal Struijk. These aren't just like nobodies. These are integral players. And if you start to look at the age of the players that are then remaining, you know, if we take away the same players out of it and go the other way around, the players that were involved at the weekend, it's incredible. It's all the older guys that are out at the moment. The spine of the team has been absolutely dislodged right now. And that's a big, big loss for them. And when you lose those kind of players, there's going to be a massive ripple effect. That, of course, reveals itself in the starting lineup. The Chelsea game, watching it, Leeds had a real go, and Chelsea were pretty poor overall. The thing when I was watching the game, and it was for both sides, but in particular Leeds, is they were toothless up front. They really, really were. And I know they play in a different style to others, but going through this team, this is not a good team right now. You've got a right back playing centre back for the team. Yes, he's capable of doing it, but he's a right back, isn't he? You've got a left back, or someone who has previously played as a left back, playing in centre midfield, and Stuart Dallas. Alongside him, you've got someone who's been out for 2 years. You've got Tyler Roberts, who, you know, has been playing okay at times, but he's a youngster coming through. Rafinha, of course, is one of those stars, and fair enough. But then up top, you've got Daniel James, who I think 30 million was a lot for him. Time will tell if he's worthy of that kind of price tag. Of course, he is young and someone Bielsa wanted, but you don't want to be playing him as a central striker. And Jack Harrison is the kind of player that wants to get the ball into the box and had such a great partnership with Patrick Bamford last season. You think that's bad. Meslier is the only player to have played every game this season. You then look at the bench here. And just to reiterate this point, you know, these are children. These are children. Aside from Matthias Klick and Joe Gelhardt, you know, the fact is, you should be panicking if you're basing all of your hope on a kid at this stage. you shouldn't be at that stage. So there's got to be question marks over the recruitment so far. Bielsa, I think when you break it down and look at this, you then start to go, Bielsa's not really done much wrong here. The style of play is correct. The manager in place is correct. The question mark would be, if you made the change and brought someone else in, is, are you going to get more from that squad than Bielsa's getting right now? Last season, you'll remember that Leeds essentially were bang on when it came to their XG, and they conceded a lot in XG and conceded a lot, and scored a lot in XG and scored a lot. And the same is going this season. So the style of play is very similar. You know, in terms of XG and open play, 12 goals to be scored in terms of XG, 10 scored so far this season. When you have a look at set pieces, 4.5 and 4, which is pretty common. That often you'll have other teams, you know, for example, Real Madrid, I think it's 27 goals they should have scored so far this season, but in fact, they've actually scored 37 because they've got that quality up top. In terms of goals conceded, again, let's have a little look. Leeds, I mean, it's not great. 19 goals conceded in terms of XG and 21 goals conceded. So they're having that little bit of bad luck, I guess, but it's pretty tight to where they are generally. Same goes for set pieces as well. So if we then look at the league table this season and then last season, this season they conceded after 16 games or 17 games, 32 goals and 17 have been scored. And let's remember there's a 7-0 in that, okay? When we look to last season, when things were all rosy, they'd conceded 30 from 16 games and scored 30. So the big problem here, and it's pretty obvious, are the key players being missing. And the fact that in terms of from XG, scoring 17 goals and the XG being around the similar mark, the creativity's not there, but also the quality's not there. And that's not down to the coaching, in my opinion. I don't think it's down to that. We did a video at the start of the season talking about second season syndrome and why Leeds should be exempt from it. And the reason they were going to be exempt from it was because the way that they play is so high octane, they don't really have that time to worry about what's going on right now. I also think, you know, the games that they played, this is Man City. So I would keep calm. Bielsa, if you lose him, I think you go down. But in terms of panicking, yes, there should be an element of panic in this because the next couple of fixtures are really, really difficult. But once you get to January, there is a slight reprieve. And this season, in terms of doing anything that exciting, it's a write-off for Leeds United fans. But for me, what needs to be done now, and you can see it when we look to the squad there in terms of the football manager, is you need to panic and you need to back the manager and the squad right now. Because any players that you bring in, this squad, if we go back to it for a sec, this squad is a championship squad in terms of names. And if they were to go down and you lost Bielsa, you'd be in real trouble. Because I'm not sure, playing a different style of football, that squad can get out of the championship. I'm just not sure because it's so thin, it's so young, and it's still reliant on players that came up from the championship. So in terms of evolving that squad, January is going to be so important, and how they recruit is going to be so important. I would throw a check at it to a point in terms of quantity of players, because the style of play makes it about the team a lot of the time. And I know Bielsa is very particular in terms of the players that he wants, but they need reinforcements and they need them really, really badly. So from my point of view, looking at the squad, looking at the situation and looking at the ripple effect, I guess, of losing some of these players with the games that they've got coming up, and we can show you it here. The next couple are tough, of course. Over the Christmas period, Arsenal, Liverpool, Aston Villa. We then got Burnley, got the FA Cup game, then you got West Ham again, Newcastle, Aston Villa. Those games are going to be absolutely integral to Leeds this season. And ultimately, they just need to get themselves over the line and stay up this season. Because the long-term future of this club is the biggest question of all. And I'll finish with this. What is the future for Leeds United, and how long does that future revolve around Bielsa? If Bielsa leaves in the summer, having just about kept them up, you want to have a better squad for the next manager to come into, which is why you would want to kind of focus on players in January. If he does want to stay, again, this squad has to be better, and the rebuild has to, not the rebuild, sorry, the climb up the mountain has to be steady and quite long. So there is so much work for Leeds United's hierarchy to do right now. But if Bielsa wants to go, be it this season or next season, the wider philosophy of Leeds United needs to be understood. I'm intrigued to know, what is the situation here? This philosophy of Bielsa ball, high energy stuff, does that live on after Bielsa? Because if it doesn't, the drop-off surely is going to be absolutely huge. Is this just one of those things where you enjoy it while it lasts and then Bielsa leaves and then you're in real trouble? That can't be the aims of the club. So this season could be a write-off. It could get a bit dangerous if they don't reinforce in January. But the wider, longer elements and planning need to be figured out here. And I wonder if those conversations are being had, because look, Bielsa's a god at Leeds, and I understand that. And again, when you look at that squad, he's doing very, very well to be battling it out with Chelsea. Yes, they got pumped by Man City. But what does he want? He has got a history of walking away. And it's a different kind of walking away, of course, because he has done so much for the club. But I think it's only sensible to look at the long-term future of Leeds United and not worry too much about where they finish this season, as long as it's not in the bottom three. But where do they want to get to long-term? And what is the deep-lying, ingrained philosophy of this team that will allow you to continue to top up and improve a very, very limited, young, bare-bones squad right now? So let me know what you think, Leeds fans. Let me know what you think generally. There's been so much talk about the style of play, and good on them. I think that's it. People have calmed down with that now. They've acclimatised. They are a Premier League club, and maybe they're getting figured out a little bit as well. They certainly don't have a plan B. They only play one way. But the amount of players that are missing right now is clearly a problem for them. How do they fix it? Is it as simple as recruitment, or is there another way of doing it? Let me know. This is the place for the calm and quiet lot. If you're one of the calm and quiet lot, then feel free to get involved. Have a little chat with me in the comments. I read all the comments. Subscribe to the channel if you're new and you've enjoyed the video. Hit the like button as well. And I'll see you next time.